Billy back here with Broship of the Nerds, and today I review Gothikana. Just, I'll tell you what got me into this book. I was at Barnes& and Noble, right? And I saw the art on this with the black flower, and then I saw the purple pages. It just had such a unique feel to it, and it definitely had my style. If you see that black flower on the side there with a hint of some gold. It just was struck me as a very beautiful book, and I was like, okay, let me pick it up and see what it's about. And there is a warning whenever you first open the book after you read the synopsis. There's like a trigger warning for dealing with sensitive topics. It says author's note, and it tells you to pause and reconsider because it definitely does have um, different things: suicide, murder, death, mental illness, neglectful parenting, human sacrifice, and other things. So I would say don't read this if you are not up for a little bit more darker material. I didn't know what to expect going into this. It said it was like a dark romance, and this girl named Corvina Clem is 21 years old. That's our main character. She gets a letter from University of Varenmore. So it definitely kind of reminded me of Nevermore from Wednesday, and also a little bit of Harry Potter minus the magic. But it definitely had that feeling. And then Vad Deverell is a part-time professor, and he's working on his thesis. And they call him the Silver-Eyed Devil. And Corvina has purple eyes, or lavender eyes, whatever you want to call it. So their stories are really interesting, and they end up meeting. And at first, without spoiling the entire story, there will be mild spoilers, by the way. He basically tells her to piss off, and then he realizes, oh my God, this is the girl of the prophecy with purple eyes that I was told about by a blind woman named Zelda, who was once the caretaker for these boys at this house, and she went blind, but whenever she like grabbed their arm or their hand or whatever, she would see into their future. And at first they took it as a bunch of nonsense, but then the things she predicted started coming to fruition. In the meantime, Corvina thinks she's going crazy because she hears voices. One that she calls Mo, that's always kind of guided her in the right direction, more like a guardian, and other voices start emerging and telling her things. And some weird stuff is going on at Varenmore, right? Like people go missing at this event every 4 years, and it's just really crazy. Like a bunch of stuff happens, and there's all the big mystery as well. So I would call it a dark romance mystery, a very good read. Like it is dark, but there's also moments of humor. There's moments of sadness. There's moments of oh my gosh, but it definitely keeps you turning the pages. Like I normally read about a book a month, just because I read it on break at work. I don't typically read as much at home, but this was one of those books I could not put down. Right, I read this um, at home, at work, any chance I had. I read it in just a little over a week. I really loved it, and the castle's really cool. There's a lot of amazing. The woods are awesome. There's a lot to this story. Like I said, it's a novel, but it's not even 400 pages. It's just under. Let me look here. Yeah, it's just under 400 pages, and it even has a playlist at the end, like songs to go with this book. And I haven't listened all the way through, but there's a lot of songs in here that I really really enjoy. So I definitely listen to it. And then there's acknowledgments at the end. Really, it's just a great story. I highly recommend it if you're into the darker things like I am. And like I said, I like that it has a warning, so that way if you do open it and you are to look at it, it has an author's note that kind of tells you what sort of topics you're going to get into. So I like that, so that way I knew what I was going into and was not shocked. Corvina's character is very relatable. She second guesses herself a lot, and like I said, she has gone through a lot, and it does go into some mental health issues. But I do think her character is very relatable just because of that, like second guessing yourself. I feel like we've all been there, right, where we second guess ourselves. this was just an incredible, incredible story. Honestly, I couldn't get enough. And then Vad's character, he has a lot of secrets that they get into. And I really like that about him. He's this enigma, but for some reason, Corvina is somebody he feels like he can trust, and they learn a lot about each other. And he really does care for her. And I love the relationship. At first, it's a little bit kind of like, will they or won't they? And it's a bit questionable at times, but then as they finally get further into it, it becomes really interesting. I give this a two thumbs up. I don't like doing like a 1 to 5 scale, but I'll give it a grade. How about that? We'll do a grade. I will give it an A because yeah, there are maybe some flaws to it, so I won't give it an A plus. But it's one of the better books I've read in a while, and I do read, like I said, about a book a month. So we're saying 12, 13 books a year. If they're shorter books, I might read them slightly quicker. But I will be doing more book reviews on this channel. I would love to talk to the author and ask questions because I just felt like the pacing was really well done. It doesn't drag. It leaves you wanting to know what happens next when you end a chapter. And I really like that about this story. But yeah, I definitely recommend, guys. You can find it at Barnes and Noble and Walmart, and it definitely stands out as a really good story. And like I said, Corvina is very relatable. Vad also relatable because I think he has some secrets, but he kind of likes being that person that's to himself more. So there's a lot of interesting things there. And the nickname he gives her is Little Crow, and I think that's just adorable. And just they just can't stay away from each other no matter what. And I think that's really cool. I think it says something for when you meet someone that you're just like naturally drawn to. There's a reason for it, and they do not deny it. They finally, go for it. And I really like that this story builds that up and in the meantime gives us a mystery we're trying to figure out. And there were times where there were some twists I didn't see coming, which I really enjoyed, and there were other times I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And they do a good job of answering the questions you have without leaving loose ends and all that. So yeah, that was Gothikana and absolutely a must read. Take care, you guys. That was a book review with Billy.